The next project that I want to talk to you about is actually something which is quite different. So one very unique thing about architecture is that you get to deal with very many different clients and very many different projects, all right? So quite a big portion of our business actually goes about refurbishment of existing projects. So this actually happens when somebody either buys a property new and want to make amendments to the property, or they have an existing property where their requirements change over time. Either the kids leave or the family expands, or whatever the nature is of the change of use within the family sometimes causes a change in the design that is required. So quite a unique project that we received recently is a project where it's a current residence which is actually based in a very kind of like a country style orientation, also with a very much country style look to the existing style. And the brief from our client was actually to refurbish the entire space, looking at actually reshuffling the entire inside of the house, which I'll talk to you about a little bit more just to explain to you what we were doing there. And as a second step to that, actually refurbishing the exterior of the residence completely. So actually doing a complete style change from a very rustic style to a much more modern style, using some of the elements within the existing house, because you don't want to reconstitute the home completely. You want to utilize the structure of the home in a positive way in order to save you money, but actually give you the end result that you are looking for. When one does an alteration or a refurbishment of existing home, the one thing which is really great is that one has a perfect picture of what the house looks like when it is completed as it is in the state that it is now. And then we have a very unique opportunity for the client then to view that home once it is complete, obviously with either virtual reality or within 3D documentation that we do. The nice thing about doing that is that one has a complete contrast of seeing exactly what it looks like now, and then obviously what it will look like when it is complete. And that is very different to starting a new design where there is actually nothing there, and when the client sees it, he'll be seeing the design for the first time, which is obviously unique, and they would have some expectation of what it is going to be like. But when you have an existing structure that you do a complete refurbishment of, you have that very stark contrast of something which is existing and something which is completely new. And the client's reaction in that is something that really excites me, and I enjoy watching that. And we actually do very detailed pictures of before, and what we'll then do is once the project is complete, we will take very detailed pictures of the afters as well, so you can have that very stark contrast, which we can also reveal to you. There are three standout features that I want to maybe just talk about with this particular design, and it's based on the client's requirements and his brief. So the one is obviously the complete style change. So we looked at changing the style completely. The next one, because of the change of use and also family dynamic, etc., he wanted a complete change of entrance to the home. So what we actually did is we shuffled the entrance from a current position, which is a very understated position done by the previous architects, to obviously to a new position and actually reshuffling all of the spaces internally in the house in order to create this new dynamic and flow within the home, which is great for us because we are able to view what the current features are within the home, and then looking at how do we enhance those features with the new flow, like for argument's sake, a double volume within a certain space. So in this particular case, it was actually a double volume kitchen, which is not a very practical use of space, because of the smells in that area, and also it feels very lofty and open in that kitchen, so the environment in that kitchen doesn't feel conducive to a kitchen environment. So actually changing that completely, and now what we've done is we've utilized that double volume in the entrance. So as you enter the home, you enter into that double volume space, which is obviously very impressive. It's very nice, it's open, your eyes are pulled up to the top because of that voluminous space that we enter into. But now it starts presenting us with other challenges about how do you utilize the space, how do you create the correct flow, and also how do you reveal the home from that point on as you actually move through that space. The current residence actually doesn't make full use of the views that there are in the property. So there are very beautiful views, but the way that the residence was laid out was almost as if the architect didn't understand that there were those views, or possibly just didn't take those views into consideration. But now that we have the opportunity of re-looking at all of that, we can reconstitute those spaces inside. And in some of it, he had like a dressing room area with a very small window facing onto the view, which we have now demolished those walls internally, and we've turned that into the main bedroom looking out over that space. Interior design department is very knowledgeable in the ergonomics of the space. How is that space utilized? Like for argument's sake, when you're in a shower and you open the shower door, where is your towel rail situated for argument's sake? How do you have ventilation within that space if one has a toilet which is enclosed in the glass cubicle? So all of these things are actually evaluated by our interior design department when we start the sketch plan of the design, in order to make sure that when we are complete with our design, that all of these things are already incorporated within the design and within that space, and the space works within that flow and the ergonomics of how that space actually is utilized after the reconstitution of that area, which could be a kitchen, which could become a bathroom for argument's sake. It just depends on how the spaces are shuffled at that point. And this is not limited to any particular project. It can be done on any project, and we can even do that remotely. We've got sometimes clients who are not in close proximity to our offices, as we work countrywide, and it is then easy for us to make an assessment of a space just by visual interaction with the client on those spaces, and be able to advise. So if anybody does want to get in touch and let us evaluate this space, we'll put our email so that you can see or be in contact with us. So with this particular residence, something that we did that was interesting also, because you enter alongside the garages, which actually form quite a long facade, we introduced some water features in there so that it actually pulls your eyes towards the water feature. And that water feature, actually, as you enter, we've actually turned it into the entrance hall, so that as you arrive, it almost leads you to the front of the home. And then in the entrance, because we enter into a double volume space, which was initially not made for this purpose, the space is slightly too deep as an entrance hall. So what we did is we did a water feature curtain wall that actually separates the dining room, which is behind that, and your entrance hall, so that when you enter, you have got a hidden view of what is behind that water feature, because you get a transparent view into that space, but it will give you privacy within that space. And that water feature actually comes 1.5 volumes down, so it forms a very beautiful entrance feature. And also you get that tranquil sound which just kind of drowns out the noise in the house, which will also be a stunning feature. If you don't want to miss any more upcoming reveals, please like and subscribe to our channel. And thank you very much for watching to this point.